Your blood sugar can rise even if you didn't eat more food, not because of carbs, not because of sugar, but because of stress. And if this happens long enough, it quietly pushes you toward insulin resistance and prediabetes without you ever realizing why.
I see this all the time in the clinic. Patients are confused, frustrated, sometimes blaming themselves. They tell me, "Doctor, I am doing everything right, cutting carbs, skipping sugar and eating less. Why is my blood sugar still high?" And the answer surprises them, because blood sugar isn't controlled by food alone. It's controlled by hormones, especially stress hormones. I am Dr. E.I. Williams, a board-certified physician. Today, I want to explain in plain language how chronic stress raises blood sugar even when your diet hasn't changed, and more importantly, how to shut the process down safely.
By the end of this video, you'll understand why cortisol raises glucose, how stress causes insulin resistance, why belly fat appears under pressure, and how physicians reverse this without extreme diets. Stay with me as we discuss this further.
You see, stress was never meant to be constant. Originally, the body was designed for short bursts of stress in a sudden threat. A lion, a car swerving, a sudden emergency. Your brain hits the alarm and then activates the stress response. Your adrenal glands release cortisol and adrenaline, and immediately your liver releases glucose into your bloodstream. Why? Because sugar is fast fuel. That is on purpose. Your body is saying you might need to run. Here is the fuel. But here is the problem in modern life. You are not running from lions. You are running from emails, deadlines, chronic sleep deprivation, and you guess it, financial pressure. So, cortisol stays elevated quietly. And now, your liver keeps releasing sugar, even though no movement is happening. This process continues, not for minutes, but for weeks, months, or even years. And that turns a survival system into a metabolic disease accelerator. We will now look at the amazing connection between cortisol and the liver in blood glucose control.
Cortisol directly tells your liver, make more glucose, through a process called gluconeogenesis. This means your liver manufactures glucose from protein, from stored fat components, even while fasting. Human studies have shown that cortisol increases liver glucose production even during fasting. This is why people wake up with high morning blood sugar despite eating less the night before. It's not because of food, but because of stress.
Now here is where it gets more dangerous. Cortisol doesn't just raise glucose. It makes your cell less responsive or resistant to insulin. Muscle cells stop pulling sugar in. Fat cells stop responding to insulin release. The liver, on the other hand, keeps releasing more sugar. So glucose stays trapped in the bloodstream as it can't get into the muscle cells. Here we have a scenario where more glucose is being released and less glucose is being taken up. That's a double hit. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, higher fasting glucose, rising A1C, and the development of metabolic syndrome, even without weight gain at first, and even if calories haven't changed. How does visceral fat come into the picture? Let's discuss that next.
Cortisol has a favorite storage location, visceral fat. Deep belly fat. Visceral fat contains more cortisol receptors. So when cortisol rises due to stress, it literally tells your body, store fat right here. This fat then releases inflammatory signals, which makes insulin resistance worse. This process raises blood sugar more, which raises insulin and stores more fat, resulting in the so-called stress metabolism feedback loop. This is why chronic stress and belly fat often appear together. We will now look at the silent amplifier of them all that is often overlooked.
One of the most overlooked drivers: poor sleep. Even one night of poor sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity by up to 20 to 30%. Poor sleep raises cortisol. Now, high cortisol raises glucose, as we have learnt, and high glucose disrupts sleep. That is why people with stress and sleep issues often say, "My numbers make no sense." Well, they do. It's just not food driving it. That loop explains why stress-driven blood sugar often feels impossible to control. Here is the good news. You can lower stress-driven blood sugar without extreme dieting. First, protect sleep like medication. How? By adopting consistent bedtimes, exposure to morning sunlight upon awakening, and sleeping in dark rooms or dim lights. Second, walking after meals. Just 10 to 15 minutes improve insulin sensitivity. Third, use slow nasal breathing, such as deep breathing exercise. This directly lowers cortisol output. Fourth, eat protein at breakfast. Here is why. Protein blunts cortisol-driven glucose release. Fifth, build muscle. Resistance training turns muscle into a glucose sink. The more muscle you have, the safer your glucose handling becomes. This isn't willpower. This is physiology.
If your blood sugar feels stubborn, it may not be your discipline. It may be your stress hormones. Understanding this gives you power, not guilt, not shame, just strategy. Because when you lower stress, your metabolism finally gets a break.
If this helped you understand your body better, subscribe for more physician-led, science-based videos. And if stress has been affecting your health, you are not broken. Your body is just responding to what it thinks is a threat. Let's teach it safety again.